3, 2, 1, go. Tuesday night, college basketball. This is Across the Board with Jeff Grant here at SBRforum.com. Going to take a look at the Big Ten Conference, thinking about renaming Across the Board to the Big Ten Conference College Basketball Channel. Covered a lot of games in this particular conference. None better than what's expected with the Indiana Hoosiers versus the Michigan State Spartans at the Breslin Center in East Lansing, Michigan. Spartans sitting as 1.5, 2-point home favorites in the market, rose to that level from a pick'em number that was sent out on Monday afternoon, while the total sits at 141 across the board. Won 3 straight games, the Indiana Hoosiers, since suffering a 74-72 setback to the Illinois Fighting Illini as 7.5-point road favorites. Very impressive 83-55 victory over Purdue as 18.5-point home favorites last time out. And what makes that even more impressive is the fact for the first time in school history, they swept the regular season series against the Purdue Boilermakers by winning both games by 20+ points. 6-3 when facing teams that have been ranked over any portion of the 2012-13 campaign this season. 5-0 when their opponent is in the top 25 on the day of the game that they face them. The defense really has upped its intensity during the 2012-13 season, a big difference from last year, holding opponents to 38.1% shooting, definitely much better than 42.5% from a year ago, and out-rebounding foes by an average margin of 9.5 rebounds per game, up from 3.8 during the 2010-11 season. They lead the nation in point differential, beating opponents by 21.9 points per game. And a big reason why this team is so good offensively and has beaten opponents so well is the fact that they lead the country in knocking down 521 shots from the charity stripe. Spartans didn't shoot a free throw in the second half of the first meeting between these two teams. 75-70 victory over Indiana, definitely something to look at and circle when looking at the box score from that particular contest. Of course, Michigan State was 9.5-point road underdogs in that game, covering that number, and the game went over the posted total of 136. When you look at Michigan State, they've won 5 games since losing that game to Indiana. That includes a victory over Nebraska over the weekend, 3-1-1 ATS, 3-2 to the over during that span. They are 3-18 all-time when facing the top-ranked team in the country. And they are, from a sports betting trend perspective, in one of their worst situations, 2-12-1 against the spread as home favorites of 3 points or less. 6-2 when being a part of a top 10 matchup at the Breslin Center. And of course, they do their best work undefeated on this court during the 2012-13 campaign, and 128-21 overall at this facility against conference opponents. 18-1 versus the Hoosiers when playing at the Breslin Center, and they've won 17 straight games in that situation. 5 players average double figures for this team offensively during Big Ten Conference play. You wouldn't think that this team would be so balanced after losing Draymond Green, their star player from a year ago, but that's the way it's worked out. A tremendous coaching job by head coach Tom Izzo. The home team is 16-5 against the spread in the last 21 meetings, 5-1-1 to the over the last 7 in East Lansing. But I'm going to look to go against that betting total trend and go under the number here. I think both teams will get after it defensively. It was much more high tempo in Bloomington than what I expect in East Lansing tonight. And both coaches know how to X and O with the best of them in the country, especially Izzo for the Michigan State Spartans. So my official pick on this game is under 141 with the Indiana Hoosiers versus the Michigan State Spartans on Tuesday night. And also, when you're looking at the under, I think a lot of people are looking at how efficient these teams were offensively in the first meeting, but these teams hold opponents to under 40% shooting for the entire season. Follow me on Twitter, Jeff Grant Sports, for any further information on this game. This has been another edition of Across the Board with Jeff Grant here at SBRforum.com. Cut.